Okay, ang gabi sa tanan once again. So, it's July already and we did not, and there's no order yet or memo as to the schedule of principal's test. No, basin karon na pong July, no? But na-vaccinated na ba mo? Murag na naman to sa news lang bago lang ko na dunggan. Diluwag-luwagan naman ang travel restrictions, especially for those who are already vaccinated. Next week pa among second dose. So, then according to the news also, low risk na daw ang Philippines as regards COVID. So, basin og madayo na kita, no? So, anyway, mas maagap yung handa, no? Na maaga kaysa cramming na and preparing for the principal's test. Anyway, what we are doing here in our learning sessions are following, no? We are following the PPSH, no? So, lahat natin ginawa is aligned with it. So, tuloy-tuloy lang tayo. And we are about to end the first group for this these learning sessions. However, our engagement shall continue. Last night, we have an open session. It was not discussed in the learning session because it's not specifically in a domain or strand, but we saw it as very important, no? We observed that a lot of teachers, even school heads, joined ranking without knowing what are to be prepared. Ang ending, 0, 0, 0 points. No? So, looy. I know the feeling because I also experienced it na wadto sa ranking masiro kay wala kay dalang documents to support it. Then, ang pait pagilana, you know that you have conducted so many activities, innovation, and others, or development projects. The problem is it was not duly documented and it was not duly approved by the personnel from the division. So, ang ending, 0 gyapon ang imong points. So, I hope it helped, no? Although mga 40 naman to kabuok ang audience. So, I hope natabangan na to, no? Sa 40 ka mga naminaw kagabi, nakatabang mas maandam sila for the ranking. And of course, it's part and parcel of the principal's test review na to kay it could be part, no? Pwedeng galing doon din ang mga questions, no? Because DepEd Order number 66 2007 is very important for the principal and teachers to know. Okay. So, again, although we are about to end our sessions, our first group, our engagement will continue. And we have our FB page to update some of the salient information related to principal's test. And we open it to those who are not yet aspirants for the principal's test so that they will also be prepared for the challenge, no? In taking the principal's test. Part na sa itong social responsibility, no? Kay para corporate social responsibility, CSR. Kana atong ginahimo, and we posted some of the review materials and videos in our FB page in order to ignite their interest and to be attuned that there is something to be looked forward, and that is principal's test. Imagine from your current salary grade, you will have your salary grade 19. Kana ang difference, no? Although most of us are here in DepEd for the purposes of service, but it cannot be denied that we are also here for survival, for to support our respective families. No? Apil diha ang atong take home pay. No? Let us be honest and practical to that. No? Importante gina siya for our children. No? Okay, so it's already almost 6:45, and there are still 22 in the meeting. So together with me now is Sir Titing, and of course our top two of the 2017 Principals Test, who is also our resource speaker this evening. So nana si Ma'am Evelyn in sulod na, so nahimo na tan 23 minus 3 from the core, so 20 pa, 24, so na 21. Okay. Oh, wala ko na mute. Nagkuha lang tato. Nag-prepare for the meeting. Okay. So, I started showing our video before the time para di po kayo nag-wait lang. No? So, bago po tang nakunaw na ato. So, yan na. No? Before the start, while waiting sa time, we will have to play our video. And on this coming Saturday, you will have your summative test. Nagkadaghan na gyud ang atong questions. So 185 last time, so plus 10 karon, it will become 195. Am I correct, Sir Titing?
Yes, Doc, 195. Then, murag, ato zero nang ihimong 200, maghimo tag additional.
Dungaga na to para ma 200, no? Tagbungki kay 195. Okay, so good luck this coming Saturday. Ang uban kay wala pa gyud ma-action, mangutana pa, nakuratan pa, ay nada ito sa summative test, no? Murag kanang kuan pa, no? So nagitay summative test every other Saturday. Okay. So I guess to give in fairness to those who are early, so we'll start, no? So ladies and gentlemen, aspirants for Principals Test, the FNG Learning Hub is giving you the top two of the 2017 Principals Test. Sir Janelo John Israel. Sir, bro, take it away.
Good evening, Sir Doc Nanding, Sir Titing, and to all our participants this evening. Thank you so much for that generous introduction, Sir Nanding. So allow me to share to you my presentation wherein I am tasked to share to you the Strand on Domain 4, 4.5, which is about the professional development of school personnel. And the second task is to share to you also the 4.6 strand of Domain 4, which is about leadership development of individuals or teams. So please wait for a while for my presentation. Okay. So this is another strand under Domain 4, wherein Domain 4 is about developing self and others. So this is all about the development of the employee or the person, may it be you as a school head or your subordinates or your teachers or school personnel. So for this strand, it will be talking about professional development of your school personnel. So our objective is to understand the expected competencies of school heads as defined in the strand 4.5 of domain 4 of the PPSSH. Our enabling objectives, there are three, so that we can understand fully the domain 4 strand 4.5. We need to identify the legal basis of why we need to professionally develop our school personnel. Second, we need to describe what are the established DepEd systems in line with professional development for our school personnel. And third is to enumerate common and mandated school practices on professional development for school personnel. So let us go over first the domain 4 and strand 4.5. So again, domain 4 is developing self and others. So our capacity to develop professionally or personally, ourself being the school head and others. Now, particularly for 4.5, it deals on how a school head will be able to help the school personnel to professionally develop based on whatever position this school personnel is handling. So we have the 4 career stages in this trend. The first stage is to demonstrate knowledge and understanding of professional development in for the purpose of enhancing the strengths and in addressing performance gaps among school personnel. So we all know that an individual have his capacities or strengths, and he do have also limitations and things need to be improved or traits that need to be improved. So in this particular stage, stage 1, the expectation of PPSHS to a particular school head is simply the ability to recognize one's ability of the school head to recognize and interpret the personnel strengths and gaps that need to be enhanced or addressed. Likewise, he is expected in this stage to have know-how on what is professional development. The second stage, as you can see there, implement professional development initiatives. So naanay pag nanay ginahuna, nanay program or project na related to professional development na i-implement ang school head. So in this particular stage, what is expected of the school head is his ability to develop the plan after interpreting the strengths and gaps, prioritizing them, what are needed to be trained or to be developed ASAP. So here, makita na ang capacity sa school head na makaibaw siya mo plano, mo craft o plano or kining programa para ma-develop ang iyahang mga school personnel on whatever things needed to be improved or developed. The third stage you can see there, monitor and evaluate the implementation. So iyahang i-assess, iyahang i-check if the implementation is really in accordance to the plan or if the objectives were attained. So here, what is expected of the school head in this career stage is his ability to create and execute mechanisms for tracking and evaluation, no? So naana makita nato nakahibaw pod siya mo check kung sakto ba tong iyahang initiatives. And lastly, the career stage 4 is to model exemplary practice, i-share ang unsay workable, admirable, or effective na plans and programs na iyahang na testingan sa iyahang school, sa iyahang group of school personnel, pwede niyang i-replicate sa uban, no? Or iyahang i-model para sa ubang schools. Now, the first term that we need to ask is, what is professional development? So, based on the T&D Operations Manual developed by DepEd and Strive in the late or early 2010, no? In 2000 rather, is the process, it is defined as the process of improving the competencies and work performance of personnel through the provision of wide range of opportunities for personal or professional growth in knowledge, skills, and attitudes. So, proseso siya for the purpose of improving one's capacities and performance of that personnel by providing opportunities for personal or professional growth na i-consider ang knowledge, ang skills, o ang attitudes. So kining tulog yun sila na kanang areas ang gi-consider in this particular development, no? Another thing, professional development is intended to focus on improving the competencies of personnel in line to their mandated roles and responsibilities. So, ang gilantaw pod usa is ang unsay trabaho sa ani na school personnel. So muna later on you will realize na lain-lain ang possible na mga plano, na mga programa na ihatag nato sa mga school personnel kay lain-lain man sila og functions, lain-lain man sila roles, lain-lain man sila responsibilities. Now, what is important in doing professional development is to aim na ang standards that are set and expected of these personnel na mabuhat. So, another definition of professional development, this time, you can find this one in the L&D System Manual, first edition. Although this particular manual is not yet officially issued by DepEd, this is just circulating around for the purpose of trial, no? For the purpose of trial. So, para nato ato lang ning gamiton para ra sa ato and please if I am sharing this one, I will be sharing this one to you. Please don't disseminate this one to others, just for your personal use na lang, kay para ra ni siya pang trial pa, wala pa ni siya gi-issue sa DepEd na official gyud. So what is professional development based on the L&D System Manual? It is a long-term process that includes regular opportunities and experiences planned systematically to promote growth and development in the profession. So mao-ra gihapon, no? But naalay na puno na long-term process. Okay? Then again, Also, professional development are intended, no, to have opportunities and experiences that will include a range of activities that develop the individual skills, na agyapon, no, skills, knowledge, expertise, and other characteristics. So this may include one's behavior and attitude. Okay, so muna ang professional development. Now, unsa may mga opportunities of professional development? Na-mention man ni siyang wide range of opportunities. These opportunities can be classified into two. Pwede siya ang formal and academic related or academic way. So, unsa may example na niya? Formal schooling. So, mo eskwela ang school personnel o masteral, doctoral, or graduate studies, whatever, or unsa pa, no? Mga short courses, pero in a formal schooling method. So that is an example of a formal and academic na opportunity. Or it could be in a form of in-service trainings. So ang kadiferensya ning in-service trainings kay mugbo ra ni siya, and then specific siya to a particular topic. Or this time, for the past few years, DepEd has introduced a strategy which is called the Learning Action Cells, or the PLCs, no? Professional Learning Communities. We call it in DepEd as LAC. Okay, so it is also an example of formal and academic, no? And then we have also research studies which are actually academic in a way, in a sense. And on the other hand, you can also have opportunities of professional development or atuang mga school personnel through non-formal or experiential. So unsa may example ani? By modeling. So naatay mga model, like for example, ang school head mismo is the model, or we have performing teachers that will be considered nato as model, and they can coach or mentor this school personnel or kita mismo na school head. If we acquire already these competencies na needed nila, pwede kita mo coach o mo mentor. We have also the job embedded learning, no? So kanang appeal na sa iyaha or gihatag diha sa iyaha ang pag-learn or pag-develop professionally ang needed niya na skill, knowledge, or attitude na i-improve. Then we can have also the reflective learning as an example of non-formal. So on something reflective learning, more on reflection, journal writing, or I think some of us experienced this one when we had the kaning katong LCP, no, or the kanang what was that, I forgot, wherein all the teachers actually were asked to join and participate on that particular course na naay daghang reflection, no, at the end of every session. Then we have also implementation of programs, activities, and projects. So this is also an example of an opportunity where one personnel can develop professionally through experiential by taking responsibility in implementing the program. Then we have also action planning or the action plan implementation. So kung unsay action plan niya, iyang buhaton na. And then benchmarking. So it can have more pa. These are the usual that we can see, no, in the school setup regarding formal and academic and non-formal and experiential. Then we also in DepEd have trainings, no? So these trainings could be classified as long-term trainings. So pwede gitawag po ni siya sa TND and NAYAP, no? As trainings, and then it could be long-term trainings or short-term trainings. So unsa example na niya kanang mga degree or non-degree certificates or courses na apilan sa school personnel. And then we have also short-term trainings, the orientation, reorientation, or education summits or conferences. Then we have, of course, the common term, no? This time that we can encounter in schools, the in-service trainings. Now, allow me to emphasize on this na in the in-service trainings, dili ra siya kay school-based ra, no? It could be actually central office led, wherein this time gihinay-hinay na nag-centralize na ang NAYAP maoy modala, no? That is why recently NAYAP released actually the different recognized programs and courses. Then we have also the established induction program, especially for new entrants of personnel or teachers, particularly ang klaro pa na induction program. And then we have the orientation program of different programs and activities and projects of DepEd, wherein ihimo pod siya into in-service trainings para ma-implement og tarong. And then we have also TOTs, training of teachers, no? Mass training of teachers, particularly on pedagogy and methodology, no? When, especially during the time that the K-12 was introduced, this particular type of training was implemented. Now, another terminology that we need to define in this strand is the school personnel. So, unsay pasabot of school personnel? Well, kahibaw man ta na daan ani, but to just give you the technical and the operational definition of school personnel based from the Education Act of 1982, Batas Pambansa 232, before this was repealed by the Basic Education Act, no? School personnel is defined as all persons working for an educational institution. So tanan. And in this Education Act, in this law, classify pagyud na siya into three. We have the teaching and academic staff, referring to all persons engaged in actual teaching. So kadtog yung nagtudlo. And we have the academic non-teaching personnel, those who are holding some academic qualifications and performing academic functions that directly supportive to teaching. So example ani niya, registrar, research assistants, research aides, and similar staff, no? Teacher aid maybe sa karon na sitwasyon nato in the pandemic. And then we have also the non-academic personnel. These are school personnel not falling under the two defined coverage, no? So, or even sa uban na mga categories. And in DepEd Order number 88, Series 2010, again, school personnel was defined or is defined. And it refers to persons singly or collectively working in a school. So this time, napuno na or na-separate na ang school head. Okay? So the school head refers to the chief executive officer of the school. So gi-identify na gyud siya as one, no, category. And then we have the other school officials, okay, who are occupying supervisory position or of responsibility. Okay. Then we have the academic personnel, those who are formally engaged in actual teaching. So mga teachers ang isa ka example ani niya. And then the non-academic personnel again, personnel usually engaged in administrative function. Now, good thing ani nga nung separate ang school head kay in the professional development ma-separate siya sa uban na school personnel, no? Ang school head. Another, in DepEd Order 2, 2015, the school personnel is also known or called as school-based personnel. Now, this time, one new idea that is added is actually the LGU-funded or contract service job order. Kay sa ato ang school situation, some of our schools naa may LGU-funded, dili siya DepEd gyud funded, no, or permanent. So tuwa siya or detail siya, gihatag siya diha sa tong skulahan para makatabang. So school personnel gihapon sila. And again, divide gihapon into teaching, teaching related, and non-teaching personnel. Okay? So in the DepEd context, okay, usually DepEd classify or categorizes, no, the DepEd personnel into teaching and non-teaching personnel. In most governance level, no, mao ni kasagaran ato ang ma-identify na mga categories of personnel. So even in the school, so muragi categorize ra into two, teaching personnel and non-teaching personnel. So unsa man ang teaching personnel based on DepEd 40 2020 refers to all persons engaged in classroom teaching, and that includes the school head and even the supervisors, no? Not only the teachers, also counselors, guidance counselors, and librarians, they are considered teaching personnel. So, na-define na gyud karon og unsa ning non-teaching personnel, which is also important kay in our school situation, naapod ni sila. Sometimes manggod, they are left behind, no? Or they are neglected, especially in the professional development. So ang kanindot karon kay ma-identify na pod nato ang teaching personnel. So these are allied service personnel. It could be accountant kung naay accountant sa inyong school, or planning officer, or HR, or admin, okay? Cashiers, budget officers, engineers, architects, dentists, and the rest, no? The rest na support personnel. So mao na sila ang non-teaching personnel. Now, in NAIAP, this is further classified ang DepEd personnel into two, separate ang teaching personnel. Diba ganina ingon man to na ang teaching personnel includes the school leaders. So that is why in NAIAP, since these two teachers and school leaders, they have different functions man and responsibilities or roles. So further ni siya classify ang teaching personnel into school leaders and teachers. So makita nato ang school leader are all personnel having supervisory administrative functions supporting the implementation of academic programs in schools. And that includes the principal. While teachers, kadtong personnel who really engage in actual classroom teaching, whether full-time or part-time basis. Now, ako tong dimension tungod kay DepEd has released its direction on the professional development of teaching personnel. This is in the DepEd Memo 50/2020, which is the NEAP transformation. Okay? So giklaro na karon sa NEAP na rather sorry, kining DepEd Memo 50/2020 is the professional development priorities ni siya, ha? Dili ni siya the DepEd NEAP transformation. It is the professional development priorities. So giklaro na karon, no, by NEAP na ang training para sa teaching personnel will be separate for the school leader and for the teachers. Now, unsa may ilahang gibasihan? So you can see there in the process flow or in the flow chart na ang mga priorities karon, which is from 2020 to 2023 na tuig, good for 3 years, and this will serve as a guide for whoever will take and provide, no, the teachers and the school leaders of trainings and seminars. So mo na ni basihan. So makita nato na naay mga drivers diha, no, nagibasihan kung unsay i-prioritize. And then there will be internal and external providers, pwede taga DepEd, pwede og mga learning service providers, okay? Then naay development sa program course, and then the program course evaluation and recognition, the quality assurance ni siya na part, and then the delivery of the program of the course. And then hoping that there will be an improved teacher competence or school leader quality. And then along the way, monitoring and evaluation or data capturing is done during the development and the delivery, and hoping that the improved teacher and school leader quality will have a good learning outcomes for the learners, and then will help as well, no, will help the school personnel in the career progression niya. So mao na ang direction karon nato na adunay mga priorities na giset ang DepEd kung unsay angay na i-train or i-develop sa ato ang mga teaching personnel. Now, these priorities were actually mapped and based from professional standards. So nanamay duha ka standards na gi-release and gi-adapt sa DepEd. We have the PPST and the PPSHS. So para sa teaching teachers, and then para sa school leaders ang PPSSH. And then naapoy lain na para sa school leader, wala lang na ko gi-capture dire kay sa school situation ramanta, which is the Philippine Professional Standards for Supervisors, no? School leaders gihapon. Then you can see on the third portion sa right side na naay DepEd order na akong gi-add diha. Kay at the moment, it is very unfortunate that our non-teaching personnel, wala sila'y ilang kaugalingong standards. So, ang priorities nila gibase sa anin na mga competencies, which is competencies na present or expected to all personnel in DepEd. Kung nakabantay mo o nakahinumdum mo sa inyong IPCRF or OPCRF, naani siyang core behavioral competencies, naani siyang leadership competencies sa fourth part or part number 4. And then unsa maning functional competencies, mao gyud ni ang atuang mga duties and responsibilities of our position that we are holding, no? Of the position that we are holding. So mao ni gibasihan sa non-teaching. Ang core behavioral competencies, ang ilahang functions na unsay competencies needed or required sa ilahang position ug ang leadership competencies. Now, unsa may legal basis and DepEd issuances that support na kinahanglan mag-professional development para sa tuang mga school personnel. So, one is the Philippine Constitution. It is mentioned in Article 14, Section 5, Paragraph 4, the state shall enhance the right of teachers to professional advancement. So, gi-require gyud no na ang state muhatag siya og professional advancements to teachers. So, tungod kay they are under us being school head. So, nahimo ng part sa ato ang functions pod ang pag-develop nila professionally. Second, legal base is the 9155, the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001. You can see in the aura of school heads, unsam ng aura, authority, responsibility, and accountability of school head. It is mentioned there, if I remember it right, number 9 of the duties and responsibilities or of the aura of school head, na we are to encourage and enhance staff development, no? So you or us as school heads are mandated or actually part na of our accountability and responsibility ang pag-encourage o pag-enhance sa staff to develop. Then in the DepEd mission, vision, and mandate, it is obvious in the vision, it is said there that we are continuously improving ourselves, being an institution that is Department of Education, no? And then the mission also of administrator is to ensure an enabling and supportive environment for effective learning to happen. And of course, it will not happen ang learning na effective kung dili nato i-ensure pod na nga ang staff are actually performing well, and they can perform well if we will continuously develop them professionally. Another legal base nga nung kinahanglan ta na mag-professional development sa atong school personnel is the CPD law, RA 10912 or 912. So, since the CPD law, the PRC is given or mandated to come up with the IRR, okay, the implementing rules and regulation. So, gimension dito sa resolution number 1032 series of 2017 na ang CPD is a mandatory requirement in the renewal of professional license and accreditation system for the practice of professions. So kay bao naman ta ani na dili ta maka-renew sa tuang teaching license or teacher's license, no? Kung dili ta mo undergo og continuing professional development. So mao na to give chance and opportunity for our school personnel na maka-renew sila, especially the teachers, na atay professional development na ihatag nila. Then another is also from the civil service, the prime HRM, meaning Program to Institutionalize Meritocracy and Excellence in Human Resource Management. Mura ni siya og system sa civil service na ma-identify ang agency kung kinsay maayo sa ilahang HRM, no? Sa ilang human resource management. Now, it is mentioned there are 3 components man. One is assess, na i-assess ang competencies, ang systems and practices of the agency in the L&D, no? So, being part of the DepEd agency, ato mong i-assess ang competencies and the practices that we are doing in our school with regards to learning and development or professional development. And in the second component, which is assist, it is also mentioned there that provision of TA and developmental interventions on L&D. Okay? So there are four component parts man actually in the prime HRM, one of which is the learning and development. And another legal base nato is the when the K to 12 law was enacted, the RA 10533 or 10533, it is expected that teacher will undergo in-service training on the content and pedagogy, since this is a new curriculum that was implemented back few years ago, no? Then we have the PSSHS. So it is part na this time of the school heads na maka-acquire siya og competency, no, on the development of self and others, particularly in the professional development of his or her school personnel. Likewise, another legal base nato is the DepEd RPMS, wherein an organization-wide process for ensuring employees are focusing their work efforts towards achieving the organization's mission and vision. So in other words, i-ensure nato ng atoang school personnel mabuhat nila ang gi-expect sa atoang school, no? Para mahimo na siya, we will give them, okay, an organization-wide process and opportunities para ma-develop nila ang ilahang competencies, no? Likewise, for teachers, as part of the school personnel, in DepEd Order 42 series of 2017, quality learning is dependent upon quality teaching. It is mentioned there. And PPST aims actually to engage teachers to actively embrace a continuing effort to attain proficiency. So kinahanglan ma-acquire niya ang culture na mag-develop siya continuously in his or her profession. Now, recent DepEd issuances related to professional development. Order 35, wherein institutionalizing, no, the school as the primary functions for professional development, no, of teachers by creating professional learning communities that will help them improve practice and learning achievement. Okay? So, unsa may naaani, okay, usa gyud ni siya na kinahanglan makahibaw ta school heads kay mao ni usa ka system or mechanism na makatabang ta sa tuang teachers to professionally develop. Now here in the school-based LAC, a group of teachers will be formed, no, and will engage in collaborative learning sessions. Gitawag siya as professional learning community to solve unsa man shared challenges encountered in the school, facilitated by the school head or a designated LAC leader. So ang school head mao'y mupurma ani nila ng mga teachers na naay common problem or shared challenges para they can collaborate to learn how to solve these challenges. So ang objective sa LAC is first to improve the teaching learning process. Another is to nurture successful teachers. So kinsa tong mga successful or performing teachers ma-nurture pod sila, ma-develop pod sila, they will be helping others man, no? Then another is to and pedagogical knowledge, practice, skills, and attitudes. And lastly, to foster professional collaborative spirit among school heads, teachers, and community. Now, ang one good thing aning school-based LAC nga nung gusto gyud ang DepEd na ma-implement ni sa school head in his school is this is the most cost-effective CPD process, no? Gamay ra og gasto, dili kayo gasto ni siya. Sometimes gani wala gyud gasto, no? And even if naay gasto siya, okay, still this can be funded or included in your MOE. Of course, subject lang to the proper utilization. Then, unsa may priority topics for the LAC session, kung nakalimot na mo, there are 5 priority areas: the learner diversity and student inclusion, content and pedagogy of K-12, assessment and reporting in K-12, then the 21st century skills and ICT integration in instruction and assessment, then also curriculum contextualization, localization, and indigenization. But this is not limited to the above mentioned areas. Pwede pod about community linkages or any emerging or urgent issues and it could be also sharing of successes or results affecting teaching and learning performance, or any topic that is related to one's professional growth or need sa imuhang school personnel. Now, kining LAC, dili ra para ra pod sa teachers. Dili pod na mag-LAC ang imuhang mga non-teaching personnel. Now, how to implement the LAC? So, these are the procedures: assessment of needs, prioritization of the needs identified para maka-come up mo og topics and agenda, then formation or organization of LAC groups, then identification of appropriate intervention, unsa may mga approaches, unsa may mga intervention na inyong gamiton for this time of the pandemic. A new approach or method is appropriate also, which is the online, no, or the non face-to-face approaches. Then we have the scheduling of meetings, ang next na procedure. Then setting up of resources, whether human or material, kinsay resource person or unsay mga materials needed. Then assignment of work, because in the LAC group, all members, or if not all members, most of the members will have roles actually. And then the LAC implementation norms, so like for example, ang time, ang venue, ang policies, participation, kinsay participants, the decision making, unsay expected outputs. And then second to the last na procedure is the preparation of the budget, kung naa manggali budget needs, no, or budgetary needs. And then lastly, writing of the LAC plan, which includes the during and the after activities. That includes the monitoring and evaluation. So unsa may role nato mga school head? The school head should lead in organizing, facilitating, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating the LAC, and in ensuring that the practice of holding regular LAC session is established, maintained, and sustained. So mapadayon. And then the rest of the participants, naapod siya'y mga roles, no? So naapod tay LAC facilitator, the LAC members, the LAC documenter, the LAC resource person. Another recent issuance related to professional development is the NAEP transformation, DepEd Order 11, 2019. I include this one because it emphasizes here the role of the principal and the school. Na appeal na ta sa pag-train sa mga school personnel. It institutionalizes and improves the LAC approach as the primary strategy for school personnel professional development. And then ang second gyud na importante is including the principal and the schools in the personnel's learning ecosystem. So makita na nato dinhi, okay, na in the organization structure of the NAYAP transformation, diha sa ubos damay, no, makita nato akong gi-highlight through the arrow, no, na ang school division superintendent in the divisions and districts na ay role in the NAYAP structure, and inigabot sa schools ang principal or instructional leaders, okay, naapod siya participation in the NAYAP. We all know that NAYAP is our training arm, no, in DepEd for all personnels in DepEd. Now, this is even supported pa gyud in the kanang structure of the ecosystem in learning of DepEd, no, the professional learning ecosystem that is proposed by NAYAP. Makita nato na pod na ang schools appeal and gi-emphasize diha ang LAC. Okay? So, wa na gyud tay likay or di na gyud ta kalikay aning dapita, no? Another DepEd issuance related to professional development is the NAYAP recognized PD program courses which are released recently, okay, in December 2020 through a DepEd Memo 82 series of 2020. So we have here the guidelines on the registration of teachers and school leaders for NAYAP recognized professional development program. Sa anin na memo, ang list of first round offered professional programs and courses that are authorized by or accredited by the NAYAP. Okay? And these courses are given through learning service providers or DepEd service providers, no? Now, I don't know if some of us were able to avail, okay, kay gipaagi man ni sa division, first from the region, then to the division, and then sa tuang sa HR nato development unit, no? So gipangayuan siguro ang mga school heads o kinsay mga teachers na interesado na mo-enroll or even the school heads na interesado na mo participate in these programs, no? Now here, gi-ensure that teachers and school leaders are afforded with a wide range of programs and courses that are NAYAP recognized. So ila nang i-advertise gyud, no, through a DepEd issuance memorandum. So hoping kung wala mo maka-appeal ani or maka-enroll or maka-avail sa sunod siguro na round of offered programs and courses, we need to be vigilant na para maka-appeal ta kay sayang pod, no? Ang uban ra ba ani kay mga nindot gyud kay kining accredited and kanang popular na mga learning service providers ang nag-provide. And some are for free, no? Now, what are NAYAP programs and courses? So, unsay procedures in availing these programs and courses? So, ako ning gi-share ninyo kining DepEd Memo 82 2020 kay aron ma-share pod ninyo sa inyong teachers. Kay pwede ang professional development sa teacher dili nato ma-address through school-based, kundi ma-address siya through DINEA programs and courses offered. So una is the eligibility. So in the NEA program and courses, kinahanglan permanent item ang participant or applicant. Kinahanglan no pending admin, civil, or criminal case. Have not been found guilty of any violation, then willing to sign and commit to the provisions of NEAP contract, and willing to prepare and undertake the conduct of the NEAP PDP action plan. Now, this is something new in DepEd, particularly in the NEAP transformation, na kung mo-appeal ka o training, kinahanglan na akay action plan na imong i-implement inigbalik nimo sa eskwelahan, no? Then we have also the classification of offered programs and courses. Some of these are service provider classified, no? Naiuban na DepEd service provider mo muhatag, naiuban na learner service provider muhatag, external ones. Then it is also classified either free or with registration or enrollment fee. It is also classified into as the number of slots, no? Naiuban na dili daghan ang pwedeng maka-appeal. Then sometimes also it is classified according to duration of the program. Now for the application, how to apply, the teacher or the school leader shall review and select the best course considering his or her professional status, needs, and eligibility. So, mupili siya, mutanaw siya, no? Nya, unsay ganahan niya. So, dili man po ni pugos. So, depende man na sa imuhang need, no? O sa imuhang status or situation. Then, the teacher or school leader shall submit the intent to register to that program to the SDO, to the division office. Then the letter of intent should indicate your qualifications of the teacher, no, or being a teacher or as a school leader in relation to the criteria set of the program. And then there are programs that may be specific selected, no, ang iyahang process na dili to open sa tanan, okay? That is why this particular selection process may precede the other provisions that were mentioned na mupili, musubmit na sa letter letter intent. So nay uban na mga programa na dili ingana ang pamaagi kundi naa pa dyo'y selection process na buhaton ang division. Now, on the approval of the application, it is the SDO that will review and approve the teacher or the school leader's application. And then kung daghan gani, niya gamay ra ang slots, ang division na maoy mo perform sa selection process. And then the SDO will inform the selected teacher or school leader sa detalye sa pag-register ug unsay mga requirements. Then, the selected and approved applicants will be endorsed by the SDO and likewise endorsed by the RO to NEAP. Then, NEAP will do the confirmation of your registration, no? So, ang NEAP shall inform the RO and then the RO will inform the SDO na na-confirm ang inyuhang registration. Then, the implementation, so the NEAP CO will coordinate with the RO and the providers of the training or whatever course on the appropriate schedule and the conduct of the course. Likewise, upon the completion of the program, the course, the DSP, the service providers, or the training team will submit the final rating of all participants who attended and completed the programs. So this is something new na pod in the DepEd or NAYAP transformation na naanay rating, no? So ratingan na ka sa imuhang pag-participate, pag-attend sa program or course. And then this will be updated kung makahuman mo o makomplete mo and you are able to complete the program, your record in the IPD, no, of the teachers or the school leaders will be updated, and corresponding units earned in joining and participating the program will be credited to your records. Then the duties and responsibilities of the school teachers or school leaders in these NAYA programs and courses is mo enroll sa iyang gipili, mo sign sa NAYA Professional Development Program contract, mo attend sa program or course, mo submit sa program requirements, then kung makareceive og passing grades or satisfactory rating in the course or program enrolled in, kinahanglan na iyahang ipasar, then mo prepare, submit, and implement a NAYA PDP action plan para inigbalik niya iyang i-implement sa iyang station. Then another DepEd issuance related to professional development is the manual of the learning system or learning and development system or the L&D system. So as I've said, kinina manual wala pa ni gi-issue officially, gipang circulate lang ni para ma-try out sa mga personnel that are doing functions to learning and development or related to learning and development. It so happened ako nakakuha ko kay being a NAYAP learning facilitator in our region and in the division. We are also recognized as a core group of trainers. We were given this one as we disseminated the learning system to all the school heads, no? So munang nakakuha ko ani na manual. So in this manual, it is defined here, no, or stated here na ang L&D system embodies the set of guiding principles, standards, policies, processes, and mechanisms through which PD interventions shall be planned, developed, managed, quality assured, monitored, and evaluated across all governance levels in DepEd. And it is also an endeavor to contribute towards ensuring that DepEd has the competent and engaged workforce that will advance the achievement of its strategic goals. So iyaha lang, no, na nanataani na system. So na maoy guide nato tanan in whatever governance level. So that includes the schools. So in this framework, ako ning pahibaw lang ninyo, no, kay mao ni ato ang murag basihan kung unsaon nato pag-approach ang professional development sa atong personnel, atong basihan ang L&D system. So even in the school situation, we will also try to follow the processes of the L&D system when we implement professional development for the school. So in the L&D system framework, makita nato na naay subsystems 5 kabuok in different colors na boxes, no? We have the L&D needs assessment subsystem, we have the L&D planning, we have the L&D program designing, we have the L&D resource package development, we have also the L&D program delivery, and then we have the quality or the KATAME, no? Quality assurance, technical assistance, and monitoring and evaluation subsystems. Okay? So, kini sila na mga subsystems ato pod ning i-implement kung kita maoy service provider sa professional development sa atong school personnel through either LAC or through inset, na ato ang training should be needs based, no? First and foremost, mao na atong unang buhaton, mag needs assessment before ta mo buhat sa uban o before ta mo implement sa ato ang trainings. Another DepEd issuance related to PD, it is mentioned in the BELCP, Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan, and timely kayo ni siya kay maog yun ni ato ang sitwasyon karon, na provision of corresponding trainings for teachers and school leaders is one guiding principle in the BELCP. So mao na bisan pa og naatay pandemya na nasa gubang karon, still, okay, there are trainings for teachers and trainings for school heads. So kita pod sa school, we will not stop na mag-implement gihapon sa LAC even if bawal ang magtapok-tapok, but pwede man ta through online, okay, modalities. Then, recent DepEd issuances related to PD again, on DepEd Order 40-2020, L&D for non-teaching in view of the pandemic. So, kini para po ni sa mga non-teaching. Morning ako ning i-mention kay for sure, some of our schools na ay mga non-teaching personnel. So, in this DepEd Order, implementation of the L&D for non-teaching in this time of the pandemic. So, kay nga naman, lahi naman pod ang landscape sa to ang workplace na mantay awa, no? Alternative work arrangement. So, mao na matrain pod ang ato ang mga non-teaching on this workplace difference or new normal. So, in this DepEd order, it provides the mechanism, standards, and procedures that will guide DepEd offices, public schools, so kita ng schools, in the implementation of the L&D interventions for non-teaching personnel during the state of public health emergency. So here, the adoption of alternative learning modalities to be used for professional development is cited also, and one of that is through online or webinars, no, na modality. So unsa may details aning DepEd Order 40-2020, ni support ni siya sa implementation of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. Unya ang iyang procedure na aghapon, as I mentioned earlier, na ang permiro gyud kung mag-professional development planning ta, learning assessment yun una, and then prioritization. Now, for the non-teaching, gi-emphasize in this DepEd order na ang basihan nato sa unsay pag-assess sa ilahang performance, sa ilahang competency, are the core behavioral competencies, the functional competencies, and the leadership competencies. So kining tulo ra gyud, no? Core behavioral, functional, and leadership competencies. And then ang L&D modalities na naanay daghan karon, no? Instead of in-house or face-to-face training, naanay daghan. So pwede na siya office learning session or coaching and mentoring. Pwede na po siya webinars or online workshops. Pwede po mo appeal sila or imong isend sila into paid online program and courses para ma-develop ang atuang non-teaching personnel. Or in some areas wherein light na or libre na gamay ang mga protocols, so pwede mag-in-house capability building. So pwede na siya na modality pod sa mga low-risk areas in the Philippines on the pandemic. And then the fund allocation pwede siya gihapon makarga no sa ato ang MOE. So pwede siya sa supplies, sa communication expense, sa registration, sa board and lodging, no, sa honorarium kung naamoy i-invite, kung mag-school base lang mo, no. So pwede siyang mafundingan nato sa atong MOE ang professional development for non-teaching personnel. Now, what are the school practices related to professional development for school personnel? So una, wala siguro takahibaw aning uban pero related to ni siya sa professional development. The conduct of the ESAT, no, the self-assessment tool. The conduct of the SMEA or the CIGPs or any situational analysis of personnel and school performances. The crafting of the IDP for all school personnel, wherein this is done after the ESAT is done, no? So, then, I don't know if you are religiously doing this one, but this particular RPMS, PPST, IPCRF, this particular activity is very important in the school, kining crafting of the individual development plan for school personnel. Kay sa una, buhaton na rabani kung ting-submit na sa IPCRF. Then, prioritizing no, the uncrafting the school plan for professional development or the SPPD. Maybe in some divisions, daily SPPD ang tawag ani niya, okay, kung dili professional development plan or school professional development plan, no, ingana ra. So, or any professional development plan. So, this is also important after each personnel is able to do. Okay, it is here that we can prioritize unsay pwedeng mabuhat sa eskwelahan para makatabang sa school personnel. And then the inclusion of the professional development program in the SIP and AIP, then the conduct of the COT, no, is also part of the professional development. Kay tanaw nato kung asa ang competencies na na-develop na kayo nila or wala pa para mo proceed sila to the next career stage in the RPMS PPST, no? Then the conduct of technical assistance, coaching and mentoring sessions with the school personnel, these are all activities and practices that are related to professional development for school personnel. Even the programming and budgeting of the PDP, Professional Development Plan or programs. And then the organization and conduct of the SLAC, the conduct of M&E for the Professional Development Program implementation, the profiling of teachers. I don't know if you are doing this one, no? Such as educational attainment, the seminars that they attended, or the updating of the file 201, no? So part na siya sa ato ang professional development for school personnel kay mao ni atong pwedeng mahimong basihan of talents, no? Talent management na pwedeng sila maoy mo train, sila maoy resource person sa ato ang mga SLAC. And then submission of report on PDP to the districts and SDOs. So if you have professional development programs that are done, submit reports to the district or the SDO. Such as, for example, activity completion report or accomplishment reports, no? Or narrative reports. Then, dissemination of the DepEd issuances and advisories related to PD. Now, I don't know if the advisories and issuances of DepEd regarding scholarship, seminars, webinars, conferences, summits rather, or short courses or even the NEA programs and orientations, no, are disseminated to the school personnel. Okay? Mas maayo natay kining bulletin board na ma-post nato ni siya, or naatay kanang calendar of activities na ma-post nato ni siya. Okay? Or makabuhat ta sa atuang eskwelahan og atuang kagalingong professional development plan or time frame, no? So mas labing maayo. Then other school practices, designating a school L&D coordinator or focal person. So this is also important, no? Na naatay L&D coordinator or focal person, kay dili man nato ma-manage tanan being the school head. Okay? Mas maayog ma-delegate nato kay makahatag pud ta niyag opportunity to become a leader, to develop leadership skills, no? And then usa pod is naagyoy makatutok pod on the professional development activities for the school personnel. Then the conduct of needs-based, school-based in-service trainings or INSETs. Also, the school-to-school partnership, wherein you will focus on the professional development, such as you have universities and colleges in your locality, or private schools or performing schools na pwede ninyong mahimong partner para makatabang sa inyuhang mga school personnel with regards to professional development. And then we have also planning and conducting of benchmarking activities. Although dili pa ni siya feasible karon sa tuang situation na naay pandemic. Then conduct of the PDP activity evaluation. Sometimes this is neglected, no? Na dili mabuhat, na unsa tong gi-implement nato na activity dili siya ma-evaluate. So nindot pud ni siya kay this will improve on how you manage your professional development program in schools, no? Now, allow me to cite some best practices or initiatives that are circulating around, no, in social media or even in some divisions, okay, or even in the DepEd news, okay. So we have here some best practices or initiatives on professional development for school personnel. One is very important and nindot kaayo, the school-based awarding and recognition of personnel and teachers' achievement on their professional growth and development. Now, why this is important? Kay maka-encourage ni sa mga teachers na mo pursue sa ilahang education, sa ilahang professional growth and development. Kay tiaw, after ma-acquire nila ang particular nila na professional development or growth, i-recognize sa school, i-recognize sa school head niya, awardan. So this can be part na pod sa iyahang file, sa iyahang credentials, no? Na the achievement niya in his or her professional growth was recognized by the school. Then another good practice also is creating an app or creating a program or digitizing or computerizing the database of personnel or teachers' professional development profiles. So, i-encode lang na siya or i-excel ba na siya or magamit ba mong program na aron sayon ra i-search, i-retrieve, i-tanaw kung kinsay na trained na aning dapita or area or kinsay wala pa para matrain na pod ning mga personnel, no? Then also another good and best practice is creating a school-based pool of trainers. Now I don't know kung pila sa atong mga school ang nagbuhat ani. Now we identified teachers as our school-based trainers, particularly on areas na naa sila expertise or successful sila or performing sila anang dapita. And then another is institutionalizing the peer coaching. Ang atong nahibawan, school head and teacher ra na kanang set up ang coaching, but pwede na ang atuang mga teachers maka-coach sa lain na teachers, labi na ng mga new entrants nato na teachers, no? Or kadtong mga well-trained or exposed or kining expert on some areas na mga teachers makatabang nato as school head na sila'y mo coach pod sa uban na mga teachers. And then creation of a school L&D team. Kay sa L&D system, ang L&D kutubra sa actually sa division. Only ang naapil ra sa L&D through the NAIAP transformation is ang role sa principal, no? But if you will create a school L&D team in your school, so dili lang usa ka tawo ang focal person ra mo ay magdala, kun dili team na sila, mas maayo, mas nindot, no? Kay daghang makatabang because the L&D activity requires actually several preparations, no? So kinahanglan daghan ang mutabang mubuhat pod ana. Then encouraging school personnel to join professional networks. So the introduction of professional networks in school, nindot ni siya na practice board or initiative for professional development of school personnel. Kay nga naman, as mentioned before sa tuang review, ang professional network makatabang sa usa ka professional with regards to learning the different situations or confirming iyahang mga actions or decisions implemented sa iyahang classroom or sa iyahang office. So, thank you for that first trend. Later on, we will have questions, sample questions related to that. So, I guess I will have to continue with my second. It is quite long kadtong first. Ang second, murag mubo na ni siya. Dali na ni siya siguro. So allow me to share my presentation of my second topic, the 4.6 strand of domain 4, which is leadership development in individuals and teams. Now, in this strand, okay, the school head is expected to have 4 different abilities to manifest. Una, in the career stage 1, the ability to recognize personnel or group with leadership potentials or capabilities. So, kinahanglan makailata kinsa man sa ato ang mga tao ang naay leadership potentials, no, or capabilities. Okay? Then, ang second career stage is the ability of the school head to delegate or give opportunities to these individuals na na-identify na naay leadership skills para ma-develop ang iyahang leadership, no, skills by unsa man giving them opportunities or delegating them tasks that will be able them to perform leadership roles and responsibilities. Ang third is on training these individuals and teams, no, para ma-effective pagyod ilahang performance about leadership roles and responsibilities para masayon ang imuhang trabaho. So naanay shared governance and accountability. So dili na lang kay ikaw ra ang naghuna-huna na ninduton ang atuang pagtrabaho, namulid, ikaw ra ang mulid para move ang eskwelahan, ang school. So here, you will be developing or capacitating the individuals or teams na nakit-an nimo na naay capacity to take the role of leaders, no? Para makuan pod, okay, para ma-share nimo ang ownership o accountability. And last na competence expected in this strand, ang career stage 4, okay, is mapakita sa school head na kahibaw siya mo empower or mo enable these individuals and group of school personnel to assume na, no, without telling them, okay, effective leadership roles and responsibilities. For what reason? To help you or to help the school achieve the goal, to have shared governance, and to have shared accountability as well. So mauni siya ang mga competencies na gi-identify in this strand. Now let us define leadership. Remember that school leadership is developing people, either internal or external stakeholders, setting directions of your school, having vision and mission. So here in DepEd, we have one vision mission, and then transforming the school to be more effective, okay, into fostering powerful teaching learning environment. So maunay mura og expected of us as a school leader, no? As a school leader, as a principal. Kanang tulo mo murag klaro siya na appeal yun na sa ato ang position. Now, leadership is also the process of social influence which maximizes the efforts of others towards the achievement of the goal. So this is a generic definition of leadership, influencing others para ma-maximize ang efforts, okay, unya ma-achieve ang goal. Now, in education, leadership has a deeper meaning, which means always keeping the learning of the students as one goal para sa bata, no? So, kung mauni atong i-translate pod or i-transfer ngadto sa tuang mga school personnel na naay mga potential, mao pod ni ato ang gustong i-instill sa ilahang mind na mulid sila para sa bata. Now, here is a kining comparison of what is not leadership and what is leadership. So leadership has nothing to do with seniority or other position in the hierarchy of the organization. Why? No? Dili man na siya automatic na kung siya'y kinatiguangan, okay? Siya'y eksperyensado kayo o veterano, siya na maoy na ay nindot na leadership skills or ma-acquire na niya ang leadership skills. Likewise, even having position, kay daghang makit-an nato in the school situation na natay mga leaders, natay master teachers, natay head teacher, pero walay initiative. Okay? Walay iyahang kaugalingon na maayong performance. So it is not automatic. So leadership has nothing to do with seniority or one's position. Leadership also has nothing to do with titles. So sag-unsa pa kadiha, unsay imuhang prefix or suffixes or titles na na-achieve, it has nothing to do with leadership. Dili again automatic. Kay daghan kaayo na taas na kaayo og educational attainment pero walay leadership skills, no? Leadership also has nothing to do with personal attributes, no? Dili tungod kay gwapo, leader siya. Dili tungod kay taas, gwapo siya. Dili tungod kay maayo siya musturya, leader na dayon siya, no? So dili tungod kay maayo siya ICT or computer, leader na dayon siya. Or sometimes ra ba ang ato ang culture sa school is tungod kay siya kinabataan, siya leader na dayon. No, this has nothing to do with leadership. Now, leadership isn't management also. So, dili siya a kind of management, no? But leadership instead is someone wherein you can see followers. So, naa siya mga sumusunod niya. So, tanaw nato sa to ang school personnel, kinsa ang mga individuals or kinsa ang mga grupo na adunay mga followers. Then, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Unsay goal nato mabuhat nila. Okay? And then, it is also someone who empowers others. So, dili hakog sa iyahang nakatunan. Kundili mo share, kundili mo train sa uban, and then mo empower sa uban. And then a leadership is not management but an influence actually, no? The capacity to influence particularly others, the workplace or the organization, able to affect or give impact to the organization. Now, another word that we need to define in this strand is leadership development. So what is leadership development? Leadership development is the process which helps expand the capacity of individuals to perform in leadership roles within the organization. Okay? So process siya na mutabang, okay, para ma-expand pagyod iyang ability as an individual or it could be a team, okay, para ma-perform niya ang leadership role na pwedeng iyang i-take into responsibility sa eskwelahan. Now, leadership roles are those that facilitate execution of the organization's strategy through building alignment or through ownership or winning mind share and growing the capabilities of others. So, makita na nato na ang leadership roles they are or skills, no? Kanang mabuhat niya ang unsay angay buhaton na kinahanglan sa organization or maigi plano sa organization. Unya, ma-align niya ni to whatever way na ma-improve pagyod. And then, naa siya sense of ownership or accountability. And then, iyaha pong mapalambo, mapa-train, mapa-develop ang uban. No? So, mauna ang leadership roles. Now, what will allow one to take leadership roles? So, unsaon man na maka-imparta sa leadership development ngadto sa tuang mga school personnel whether individually or as a team. Now, one is delegation. This is a very important and also kining muraog kining vital to consider, being a school head of an organization, of a school, no, na imuhang i-delegate kay imuha maning murag ihatag ang imuhang authority or responsibility to an individual or to a team. So what is delegation? Commonly defined as shifting the authority and responsibility of particular functions, tasks, or decisions from one person, which is usually a leader or a manager, to another. Okay? So mao na ang delegation. Kasabot man ta kaayo ana. Now, here I am again comparing what is not delegation and what is delegation. So, what is not delegation? Delegation is not simply dumping or handling or handing over personal responsibility. Kanang ihatag ra nimo dayon ba? Ikaw na ana. So dili na delegation ha, dili na sakto na idea sa delegation. Delegation does not involve telling people what to do. So dili pud na delegation ng oy buhatan ni or ikaw may mubuhat ani buhatan na siya. So dili na delegation. Delegation is not also distribution of task na daghan na kay trabaho ko, ako ning ihatag niya, imo ni aron kita tanan na ay trabaho. So that is not delegation. Delegation does not look the same in every situation. So dili kapunay pariha ang delegation. Pwede na kini na situation or aning orasa, aning time i-delegate nimo, pero pwede pod na in other times dili na nimo i-delegate. Pwede pod na ang delegation nimo is up to this scope or pwede pod na particular or specific lang na task, no, or scope. Then delegation is not about sending away your weaknesses. Kana bang di man ko kamao ani, di man ko maayog ICT. So kanang atuang LIS, EBIS, adto lang na nimo ma'am kay ikaw may ICT coordinator nato. That is not delegation. Okay? Sending away what you cannot do or what you are weak about, no? Or unsay kanang dili ka maayo kaayo. That is not delegation. Delegation does not mean you can't do it all yourself, no? Wala pagpasabot na di nimo mabuhat na ikaw ra mao nang imong i-delegate. So imong i-share, okay? So that is not delegation. So what is delegation then? It is actually spreading it out in a way that best advances the organization's short or long-term cause. Kanang makita nimo na kung imo ning i-share ang imuhang authority, responsibility, and decision making, mas maayo ang resulta sa organization kung unsay atong gitarget or unsay ato ang objective, no? Na ay impact na nindot kumpara sa ikaw lang. Okay? Then delegation is explaining the outcomes and results they are expected to achieve. So delegation na siyang ihatag nimo ang authority, ang responsibility, ang task, pero imong i-guide pod, imong explainan kung unsay maayo o unsay outcome and result na expected ana na ma-achieve. Okay? Delegation also is taking some time, having planning and effort to complete things out. So dili kay ihatag nimo tungod kay di na nimo kaya unya nag-deadline na imong i-delegate. No, that is not delegation. But delegation is imong gilantaw na kaya niyang mabuhat, kaya nilang mabuhat, maplanuhan pa nila, unya ang effort sa pagbuhat ilahang makumpleto gyud. Okay? Ang effort na needed ilang makumpleto. Delegation is determining what to delegate, when to do so, to whom, and how the leader-subordinate relationship will look over the lifetime of the project. So that is delegation kung imong tan-awon kung unsa ang mahitabo sa leader-subordinate relationship as the task will go on sa pagbuhat na nila sa imong gihatag na task. Okay? Then delegation is viewed as a way of building existing strengths and getting things done more quickly and completely, no? So kay nakita nimo na naa sila ana na capacity, kaya nila unya mas makatabang sa task to be achieved quickly and completely. So that is why you share your authority, you share your responsibility, then that is delegation. Delegation also is showing what you as a leader is strong enough to give tasks to people you identify that these projects would be good for them and for a team, no? So dili na pasabot kay di nimo pwedeng mabuhat mo nang imong ihatag kundili nakakita ka, no, na pwede ni nako masaligan ning mga tawhana or kini na individual na mabuhat ni niya ang task na ako unta na responsibility. So, one thing that we can share leadership development to individual or teams is by delegation. Another also is by forming teams, by creating teams, no, in your school. Why? Because a team is a group of individuals all working together for a common purpose. So that is definition of the team. Now, in the team, tungod kay daghan sila, naay mo surface na mga roles. And one of the role na mo surface ana is leader. Okay? The leadership role. Okay? Naadyoy mo come up na mahimong leader in a team. That is why this is one opportunity wherein we can we can share leadership development to an individual or even to a team by creating groups or teams in our school. Ideally, the team have common goals, common objectives, and more or less think on the same line. So maunay usa sa naa sa team. Now, why organizations support and utilize teams or even schools, no? Now, nganong kinahanglan man na mabuhat ni nato pod sa tong school? Because of the effect on the overall workplace performance that the teams can give, no? Both in the organization or the entire school or to an individual. So, ang mga daily leader makakat-on pod from the leaders in the team. And then kadto pong mga leaders makakat-on pog mga idea sa lain na mga members sa team. So dako siyang effect sa performance sa workplace. So what are some takeaways of teams? Team members have diverse areas of expertise, no? So mo nay usa kanindot sa mag-form kag team kay in doing the task you can see na naa sila'y daghang and different areas of expertise na pwedeng makatabang to achieve the task. Then teams can have autonomy and authority in making decisions. Tungod kay daghan sila, they can come up with consensus and decide on something. So these are some takeaways na nganong nindot na mag-form tag teams or committees in school kay gawas na matagaan og opportunity for leadership roles ang atuang mga school personnel, maka come up pod sila og decision that somehow underwent a process. Now, what are leadership competencies? Okay? So, unsa may gi-expect sa DepEd sa atuang mga school personnel to become leaders? Makita ni siya sa atuang IPCRF Part 3. Okay? Kadtong leadership competencies, no? Duha man to kabuok, no? Ang core behavioral competencies ug ang ikaduha leadership competencies. So adto makita nato sa IPCRF. Now, what are the leadership competencies defined in the IPCRF of our personnel? One is leading people. So gilantaw sa atuang organization na naay ability ang atuang every school personnel or group of personnel to lead people. So in what way man, unsa man ning leading people na iyahang pasabot na ang personnel na siya'y basic persuasion techniques na magamit niya in the discussion or the presentation, no? Na pwede siyang maka-mobilize og staff, okay? Makasugo ba or maka-assign ba? Maka-appeal to reasons or emotions, kahibaw mo gamit sa data or examples, unya kahibaw pod siya mo prepare og visual aids for presentation purposes. Another is persuade or convince or influences others in order to have specific impact or effect. Or set a good example. By setting a good example, that is already leading other people. That is credible, respected leader, or demonstrate desired behavior. Or forwards personal, professional, and work unit needs and interests in an issue. So, kaybaw siya mo handle og unsay mga needs and interest. Okay? Unya, siguro ma-communicate niya well. Then, assumes a pivotal role in promoting the development of an inspiring, relevant vision of the organizations and influences others to share ownership of DepEd goals. Okay, so ownership of DepEd goals. So naa siya, maka-assume siya og role na ma-promote niya na ato ning buhaton kay nindot ni siya aron ma-achieve nato ang DepEd goals. Another leadership competence identified and expected of our school personnel is people performance management. So unsa man ni siya, kanang pwede siyang makabuhat og changes sa iyang performance management or in his own work methods for the purpose of improving one's performance. Like for example, usbon niya aron daling mabuhat, no? Or minus ang gasto, or efficient, or naay quality, or masatisfy ang customer, or maka-contribute og moral, or maka-gain og revenues, no? So, iyang ausbon ang iyahang way, pero in line ra gihapon to improve his or one's performance. Another is be able to set performance standards and measure progress based on office and department targets. So makaset siya ug unsay gusto niyang i-achieve. Then provides feedback and technical assistance such as coaching for performance improvement and action planning. So makatambag pod siya, no? Or makatabang pod siya sa uban. States performance expectations clearly and checks understanding and commitments. So kay baw siya unsay gi-expect sa iyaha, unya unsay kinahanglan na pagsabot o commitment na ihatag sa iyahang trabaho. Then performs all the stages of result-based performance management supported by evidence and required documents. So iyang gibuhat ang expected sa iyahang trabaho, all the phases of the RPMS, okay? Unya naagyud siya MOVs to support. Leadership competence also na gi-identify is the people development, no? Now, in this competence, the school personnel is able to improve the skills and effectiveness of others or individuals through employing a range of development strategies. So by giving opportunities also to others or helping others, no, para ma-improve sila. Facilitates workforce effectiveness through coaching and motivating or developing people. So mutabang to coach and motivate others, no? Then conceptualizes and implements learning interventions. So makasuggest, makaunahuna pod siya ug unsay angay na intervention para gamiton sa training needs, no? Or sa training. Then does long-term coaching and training by arranging appropriate and helpful assignments, formal training and other experiences for the purpose of supporting a person or development. Then cultivates a learning environment by structuring interactive experiences such as looking for future opportunities. So gilantaw po niya na naa siya mga opportunities in the future and then aron pag-develop sa iyahang career goals. Now, what are leadership development opportunities in schools? Unsa man ning mga leadership development opportunities na makit-an nato sa atong mga eskwelahan? Chairmanships and coordinatorships. So creating chairmanships and coordinatorships or designating individuals as chairmans and coordinators will give opportunity to individuals or to a group of school personnel to assume leadership roles or creating committees, no? Then engaging into scouting activities, asking these teachers or school personnel to engage in the scouting activities will also give opportunity to them to develop their leadership skills. Kaya nga naman, sa scouting, unsa may naa, okay? Ang mga teachers mo'y lead, no, sa mga bata. Okay? So dili sila ka-lead kung dili ma-develop ang ilahang leadership skills una. Facilitation and participation in LAC sessions or insets. Then peer coaching and mentoring, no? Pre-service teachers coaching and mentoring, kanang pagdala or mahimo kang cooperating teacher to the intern teachers, no? Will give opportunity to the teachers or to the individual to be a leader. Leading or facilitating the PTA meetings, no? Mahimong opportunity na as leader ang teacher. Reading leadership and management books or journals will give opportunity to teachers to know what is needed to improve in order to become leaders. Conducting research and studies will give also opportunities to the teacher to become a leader. Kay siya mubuhat sa ana na programa, sa ana na research. Crafting and presenting a proposal. So encourage your teachers na kung na sila'y program, na sila'y project, ipabuhat una ang action plan, unya aron masuportaan nato og ma-documented, pagamaan og project proposal, and then i-present. So this will give them leadership opportunities, no? Development opportunities. Attending leadership seminars, webinars, and conferences, of course, will give opportunity of teachers to acquire and to learn what is leadership. Implementing programs, activities, and projects. Kung sila mo implement, mahimo silang leader ana. Kay sila mo'y nag-unagyod, sila mo'y nag-lead, no? Na mahimo na program, projects, and programs, no, and projects. Then joining or leading school or teacher organizations. Then joining community and civic organizations is also helpful for them to develop leadership development. Watching self-improvement and leadership videos. Daghan kaayo karon, no? Online sa YouTube na will improve management, leadership skills, okay? So para sila mahimong leader og kahibaw na og unsaon. Initiating, organizing, or leading school activities. Creating blogs or vlogs, no? Related to work, okay? Will make them leaders kay they will be able to influence others. Motivating others, no? So, going back, creating vlogs just like Doc Lebs, no? Sa iyahang YouTube channel, you can see how this leadership style, okay, is able to change, no, the approach, okay, kay ngano man naka-influence si Doc Liv sa uban pagyud even beyond sa iyahang jurisdiction or sa iyang division, okay. Motivating others, okay, is one opportunity that will help an individual or a team to develop leadership or to take leadership roles. Taking responsibilities and assigned tasks. Okay? So those are opportunities. So daghan kayo ang opportunities na para sa tuang mga individuals and teams in the school na maka-acquire sila og leadership skills or ma-develop ilahang leadership skills. Now, what are best practices that a school, okay, can do, okay, or that a school a school head can do, no, that can be done by a school head? Well, one is profiling of school personnel. When you profile your school personnel, you have now a system wherein you will know kinsay na ay talent or kinsay wala pa. Okay? You get to know kinsay na ay talent through a document, no? Through a document. Pwede man na siya natong mahimong basihan. Okay? Then another is having a succession plan, no? Kung pananglitan na akay na-identify na ng mga leaders, kung pananglitan di man yun nato malikayan na most of these leaders na ay dakong opportunity na ma-promote, so kinsa may musunod, no? So nindot ni siya na maplano nimo daan sa imuhang eskwelahan kay aron og naay changes or movement in your personnel, kahibaw na kag kinsay itap nimo dayon to take the role. Then, give designation documents to assigned roles and positions. Ayaw lang verbal. Isuwat yun siya. Okay? We in the school are allowed to designate man some of our teachers to do or to perform school-related operations or tasks or functions, no? Now, need not, dili na necessary na ato pang ipa-approve sa ibabaw, na apoy uban na ang schools division superintendent maurag yoy mo designate, no? So, naay ingana pod na sitwasyon. So, ang maayo, naagyod sila document kay makatabang maninila, mahimo maninilang part sa ilahang credentials. Okay? Then, craft a leadership development plan. Okay? So, dili lang professional development plan, but also leadership development plan. Since you are able to identify kinsaning mga tao na naay potential, na po kay plano nila, nasahi or lahi para sa uban or sa kadaghanan. Then give turns to teachers or school personnel to assume roles and responsibilities. Okay? Try to avoid biases, no? Usahay ra ba kay kini kay maoy mutuo nako dili gahig-o, mao ni ako ang i-assign ani, no? So usahay we are too kining caught up with that idea na kinsa tong kaya natong makontrol mo'y atong i-assign, no? So wala ta kahibaw na if some will be given opportunity to take leadership roles, mas effective di ay sa mga tao na buutan nato or nagpabuutan-buutan nato, no? So ingana. Recognize accomplishment and achievement of leadership. So kung naay na-recognize na leader in their organization or in wherever or whatever, recognize them also in your school. Okay? Sayon ra man na, dili man na siya gasto ang pag-recognize. Then, another best practice is to form groups or committees. Now, dili lang limited to the DepEd programs, activities, and projects, but even to your strategies. Just like me, no? Dili ni siya pagpanghambog, pero in my school, I created actually a planning core group, or I call it as a school planning team that is different from the SIP, no? A school planning team na kami mo'y mulantaw unsay dagan sunod and activities sunod sa amuang eskwelahan. Okay? Na mag-involve ang teachers, ang other stakeholders, or even the operation of the school. Okay? Thank you so much for your for listening. Bisag taas-taas to. Ako ang sharing. I hope I was able to impart a lot of things to you that will be helpful in your endeavor in taking the principal's test. Back to you, Sir Nanding.
Yes, sir, Jenilo. Thank you so much for sharing. No? So, kung gusto tang mag-top sa principal's test, dapat maayo ta mag-research o mabasa gyud ta, no? So, I hope you will get the idea of Sir Jenilo on how to prepare, no? Dapat magbasa gyud, mag-research, magbasa. Okay, so Sir Titing, is the quiz ready?
Yes, Doc Nanding, good evening everyone. A quiz code is already posted in our chat box and also in our GC participants. So our code for this evening is 502324. 502324. All new questions, 10 items, so 70% is 7 in just 4 minutes. Kaya na.
So 4 minutes lang. Kaya na.
4 minutes. 4 minutes nga answeran ang 10 items. Nagkatag-taglugway for 2 minutes para sa pag-join sa uban. 26 pang naka-join. In our meeting link is 53. For all new questions, kaning 10 items, 4 minutes, murag dalian ra kayo ta, no? Pero if we are used to nga dalion na to pagbasa, din masabtan din na to. Pag naay 200 items nga atong answeran, mag-accumulate man ang ubang seconds ana nga nahuman imong dali nga sure kasi mong answer. So 3 hours for 200 items, kaasan ra kay kaana basta naanad na ka. So good kay ni atong practice dinhi kay ma-practice kita sa pag-answer against the pressure of the time.
So in other words, mag-snack na sila while nag-answer pa ang uban.
Yes, Doc. Mao na nahitabo mong gud nako atong pag-answer nako. Okay. Anad man og basag tagas kayo nga gan. So ang gihimo nga ang time na. Ang gihimo ni Sir Janilo karon particular ninduta nga mga questions na murag mag-anad kita ni. Indot kayo, then tag-as choices as well as system. Okay, we will start. Makahabol na ng uban. 8:45, then we will end at 4 minutes man. 8:49 or
Pila na,
8:49:50.
pila na nakasulod, sir?
36.
36 pa?
36.
What's the problem? It's 53 man God, so the
Minus
three of
4.
us, minus 4, so 49 dapat.
36 pa lang.
Measure your competence after listening to the speaker. Sayang ang experience. Let's find out if your comprehension based on the discussion a while ago is great, no? Maayo ba ang atong comprehension? Kung assignment mode na, dili na ito ma-measure, no? So this time, it's immediate, presko kayo from the discussion of the speaker, then we will have the quiz. So parehara nang nag-eskwela ta sa una, after discussion, na short test ang ihatag ng atong teacher.
Okay, shall we start? All right, it's already time.
Okay, thank you so much. Before we declare the passers of the 10-question quiz, we will have General John Israel, our resource person, to explain the questions and the answers. Bro.
Yes, bro. Thank you so much, Sir Titing. Thank you, Sir Nanding. So, on the screen are the questions. Particularly, first set is for the 4.5 professional development for school personnel. So, question number 1, Principal Santos is assigned to a remote school categorized by DepEd as small school. After the conduct of the ESAT, he found out that most of his teachers need training and enhancement of their innovation skills. Which of the following actions is best for Principal Santos to do? So I have there underlined keywords. Remote school. So meaning to say, layo-layo gyud ni sa mga venues, no? O sa mga tao siguro na pwedeng makatabang nila. Small school ang pasabot ani gamay ni og MOOE. So kung mag-training ni sila, most likely lisod maka-funding, no? And ang ilahang need is innovation skills. And then ang gipangayo sa question is the best na buhaton ni Principal Santos. So kumingon tag best, pasabot, dili kayo mo gasto pero effective, no? Unya maka-answer or address sa ilahang needs. So mo na ang answer is A. Kaya nga naman si Principal Santos ray mo train tungod ang iyahang background pagpang-apply niya sa principal position, nakatabang man to niya tong iyahang innovations na gi-submit as part sa iyahang credentials, no? During the time na kining classroom teacher pa siya. So naa siya capacity to train his teachers na dili mo gasto o ana ra sa ilahang eskwelahan pwede ra. Kung letter B ang ilang pilion, muadto sila fancy venue, unya mo-hire pa gyud sila well-known training team. So ang fancy venue most likely mahal gyud na. Unya ang well-known training team mahal po ni sila og professional fee. Kung C ang pilion, younger teacher, I doubt if this younger teacher dili pasabot tanang younger teacher maayo na og innovation, no? Unya not tanang dili pud tanang younger teacher ang pwedeng maka-mentor or maka-lead sa ubang mga teachers na experience na, veteran na, or kanang ang problema lang nila kay wala lang sila ang innovation skills, no? Although makasave, pero mo na I doubt if the training need is ma-answer or ma-address through the use of the younger teacher. Or ang D, nganong dili po D, kay yes, nindot na technical assistance, pero kung mangayo og financial support from the division, I doubt, no, if it is or pwede ba siya na muhatag ang division og financial support para lang matrain ang usa ka eskwelahan or inyuhang school personnel on innovation. Kay kung atong agion sa utilization of funds, kung unsa ang intended na fund gyud ana sa division, sila gyud maoy mo gasto ana. Kung unsa pod ang fund intended or downloaded to the school, ang school pod maoy mo gasto ana, no? So using funds para sa lain is a bit difficult and questionable. So mao na A ang answer anang first question. Second question, which of the following activities displays, no? Appealing activities underlined na, displays the school head's competence on monitoring and evaluation of the implementation of professional development initiatives in enhancing strengths and addressing performance gaps among school personnel. So asa man aning na-cite na mga activities ang nag-display na naanay ability ang usa ka school head para mag-monitor o mag-evaluate. Now, if you will go over all, sa first, he aims to use this as basis for monitoring and participation. So, klaro kayo na monitoring, no? So, by doing this, na mag-innovate sila o database para sa ilahang mga teachers for profiling kung unsay activities na natendihan na nila on professional development. So, it is already a manifestation na naa siya'y ability na mag-monitor o mag-evaluate sa iyahang gi-implement na initiatives. Then the school head sees it all the time that every proposal or plan on PD programs, activities, and projects will have a mechanism to supervise and assess the implementation. So klaro pod kaayo na naa siya'y competence kay iyahamang appeal gyud sa plano ang monitoring and evaluation. Kung number 3, checklist template, to monitor all the activities, bisag checklist lang na pero gigamit man niya to monitor and even to assess the attainment of the program objectives. So it is also a strategy na showing na naay monitoring and evaluation competence ang teacher. Focus group discussion ang gigamit, no, sa school head para ma-appraise and attain the program objectives, appropriateness, and impact of the program to the school or the school stakeholders. Tinuod ang FGD, makita o makuha gyud nato kung unsa ang nahitabo sa mga participants, okay, sa ilahang pag-appeal sa ana na intervention, no? That is why the answer is letter D. Kay all the 4 activities are actually used or utilized for the monitoring and evaluation of the school heads' initiatives on professional development. Number 3, which of the activities should be done first? So, nakalinya ang done first by the school when it comes to implementing professional development for school personnel. So, base ganina sa ako ang gi-cite na mga examples, even in NAYAP, even in the LAC, the assessment of needs is the first thing to be done. So that is why letter B ang answer, ana. The conduct of self-assessment activity to the school personnel using the ESAT is the first thing to be done by the school rather than the rest. Ang uban musunod na siya, kanang pag-analyze mo second, okay? Rather pag gama sa IDP mo second, pag-analyze sa needs and professional gaps mo third, unya paggama sa school plan mo fourth. Number 4, DepEd sees to it that professional development programs are aligned to the professional standards of the different personnel positions. Unfortunately, the non-teaching personnel, for non-teaching personnel, the standards are not yet established. Thus, at this moment, it utilizes the common competencies expected by the Department of Education from all its personnel as guide for the development of PD programs by the learning providers. So kinina question murag knowledge base kayo ni siya based ako ang talk ganina, no? It is actually letter D ang walay labot ana, community linkage and involvement competencies. So sa non-teaching sa pagkakaron kay except man ang question, no, except, so asa man ana nila except for. So sa pagkakaron ang gigamit sa DepEd na standards para matabangan pod ang non-teaching ma-develop sila professionally is the core behavioral competencies, the functional competencies, and the leadership competencies. That is why ang walay labot ana is letter D. So letter D is the answer. Last question for 4.5. Which of the following is best practice, that a school head can do to encourage his or her school personnel to engage in professional growth and development? So una, include the professional development programs for school personnel in the SIP and AIP. So maka-encourage baka anipod sa tuang personnel? Question na to. Letter B, initiate a school-based awards and recognition program for school personnel who attain or achieve professional growth. So pwede, no? Kay ma-awardan gud siya kung naa siya achievement sa professional growth. Letter C, designate a school L&D focal person to focus on professional development. Maka-encourage ba kung naay local focal person sa L&D na mo-undergo or mo-engage ang school personnel to professional growth and development? Murag, dili kayo, no? Or dili gyud siya. Then, letter D, organize LAC groups according to school personnel's shared challenges encountered. Possibly, no? Ma-encourage kay mo tubag god sa ilahang mga challenges na nagporma ka og LAC groups para nila. So, possibly. But since best man ang maayo na practice na makatabang, ma-encourage sila, ang katong award system maoy better than letter D, no? Kay naapod sila makuha sa ilahang effort na mo grow professionally or mo achieve og professional development. So that is regarding 4.5. Now let us proceed to 4.6. So for 4.6, this is the set of questions. Okay? Klaro raman, no? So, which of the school personnel will you utilize to be the best leader for your teachers in developing a particular project in your continuous improvement efforts? A veteran teacher who is planning to retire after 2 years. She has been in the service for over 30 years now. So nindot kay grabe ang experience pero without kay murag paupos na iyahang kandila kay mo retire na. Or B, a newly hired teacher who always sets a credible and respective example and desired behavior. Nindot. Pero ang apan lang niya kay newly hired, no? Pero mingon man ta na ang experience dili siya mo matter on regarding leadership skills. So pwede ra pod siya. Letter C, a teacher who shows specific positive changes in own work methods in order to improve performance. So pwede siya na mahimong best leader kay naa siya capacity na iyahang i-improve pagyod ang iyahang performance by improving work methods. Letter D, a master teacher who performs well and with quality when efforts are well rewarded and recognized. So, nindot kay maayo siya performance pero naalay kondisyones kung awardan pod siya or i-recognize pod siya. Now, what if dili kaha? So, questionably pod ni siya. So, among the options, the best leader that you can assign for continuous improvement efforts is kining letter C. Kay nga naman, una, okay, in a continuous improvement, okay, magkinahanglan na siya na labi na kung project, performance management ang importante, no? Unya, possibly, rather it is sure with his background na naa siya ay pamaagi na ma-improve ang iyang performance. So ang inyuhang efforts on CI ma-achieve yun ninyo. So that is why letter C is the best answer. Which of the following activities relates to leadership development or individuals or teams? So, unsa man kuno na mga activities ang relate sa leadership development of individuals or teams. So, sa example na gihatag, 1, 2, 3, 4, ang 1, 2, and 4 maoy example na pwede related siya for leadership development of individuals and teams. Kay nga naman, ang number 3, mag-schedule ra ka sa imuhang mga teachers para sa pag-manage or pag-conduct sa morning routinary program in school. I doubt, no? And this alone will not give opportunity, actually, clear and concrete opportunity for teachers na maka-acquire o maka-develop sa ilang leadership skills. Kay tungod kay gi-assign sila, so sure mo obey sila, and since routinary na work, simple ra na trabaho, so even without leadership skills, for sure mabuhat ra gyud na nila, no, ang morning activities, no. So that is why among the 4, siya maoy walay labot. So ang organization of school-based pool of mentors is a great opportunity for individuals and teams to develop leadership skills. Recommending your teachers to be learning facilitators in the NAEAP, much more. Kaya kinahanglan yun og leadership skills ang mahimong facilitator, labi na sa a bigger stage. And then, designating coordinators and chairpersons in different area of operations in the school. will help also individuals to take leadership roles and responsibilities. Number 3, which of the documents can be helpful for the school head as his or her basis for identifying leaders? A. Certificate of attendance and participation of teachers to leadership seminars. Pwede, no? Pwede siya. B. Transcript of records of the educational attainment of teachers. Okay. Then C. IPCRF of teachers for the past 3 years. And then D. None of the above. So kanang none of the above, kanang pangpalibog na ninyo. So A, B, C. So asa man ani nila. Now, kumingon ta, transcript of records of educational attainment of teachers, makatabang nimo as your basis in profiling school personnel as leaders, mura og doubtful pa na siya kung naabay direct link kay as mentioned earlier, ang leadership wala sa titles or sa educational attainment. So likewise sa A, bisan og kapila pa na siya ni attend pod og leadership seminars, dili pod na automatic that ma-acquire or ma-develop niya dayon ang leadership skills. That is why looking into the performance of the teacher for the past 3 years using the IPCRF will help you have a wide perspective, okay, a view, a snapshot of who are the teachers that are lideron, okay, or epal, okay? So, makahibaw na dayon ka na kay makita man nimo sa ilahang performance. Labi na sa ilahang ratings. Nya, kamo bayay mo sign as school head? So, di gyud pod mo musugot o wala ninyo makita with MOVs ang ilahang high rating. Number 4, when is the best time to delegate? Kanusa man? So, among the options, letter A is the answer. When you identify a team that will be able to do the task well for the organization. Ang letter B nganong dili man, when you are too occupied with additional tasks and you see someone in your school with less responsibilities, dili na na delegation. Okay? Abusar na siya. Kay mura og power tripping na siya kay ikaw principal ay imong ihatag niya. Then letter C, when the task is complex to be done by an individual, so you delegate the task to a team. No? So, dili pasabot, as mentioned ganina, na ang task is dili kaya nimong mabuhat, imo dayong i-delegate. So, dili pod ni siya maoy real meaning of delegation. So, dili na siya sakto. When you want to encourage someone who has been passive in his performance, thus you delegate another task. Usahay bitaw, murag punishment ba, no? Kay wa ka kay mo trabaho, imo ning trabaho. Okay, imong i-delegate. So dili po na sakto. So that is not the best time, no? It's not a best moment na you are delegating. So the answer is A. Number 5, and we all know that delegation is one way to give opportunity for individuals and teams to take leadership roles. Then, which activities in the DepEd will allow your personnel or teams to be capacitated in leadership development? So, we have here options, giving inputs about leadership during faculty meetings. Okay. Nindot. Okay. Okay, then 2, modeling your school personnel teams on appropriate leadership styles. Yes, pwede. Encouraging your school personnel to join leadership workshops and camps and scouting activities, yes. Establishing peer coaching and mentoring among school personnel, yes. That is why letter D is the answer. 1, 2, 3, and 4 will give opportunity and help personnel and teams to be capacitated on leadership development when these activities are done in the school or by the school head. So that's all regarding the questions that I formulated, sample questions on these two strands. Back to you.
Yes, thank you very much, bro. Janelo, sa explanation. No, rejoinder lang siguro niya ako, sir, bro, kining itong sa IPCRF bitaw.
Yes, yes, bro.
Na mo yung mga joke-joke po ng IPCRF kay para sa PBB ba?
Wow po.
Pero
Hindi na
ideally,
tinuod.
di na tinuod ba kay kung mubuong inyong IPCRF po, mo affect sa OPCRF, mo affect po sa PBB mo nang pero ideally mo gito no mo gito nga basis gyud ang IPCRF. Kay basig ma-clouded noon ang desisyon nila ba kay sa practice naman good noon for the sake of PBB nahimo ng dili honest ang IPCRF. Pero ideally sa atong system sa DepEd, good source good of information ang IPCRF in determining leadership competency of our teachers. Para lang, para dili ma-confuse. Okay na bro?
Correct, bro.
Ano. Okay, thank you. So, Sir Titing, the result?
Okay, yes, Doc Nanding. Here is the generated result of our quiz tonight, the 10-item test.
So, nobody got perfect?
Yes, nobody got perfect. Out of 40 participants during the quiz, we have only 7 passers, 70%, and 18 ang nakahuman on time. Actually, nasayop na ko pag-calculate, it's not 4 minutes but 6 minutes. 6 minutes akong gihatag ha. And then only 18 ang nakahuman, 22 ang was not able to finish the 10 items. Only 7 passed the test. Take note, basta dili ta makahuman sa pag-answers ta ng items kanang nablangko gyud, wala ta nakaabot sa butikaw. Lucky na lang gyud kayo kung makapasar ta. So need gyud nga mahuman na tog answer ang tanang items. Bahalag pila ka items na abot ta sa paswerte na lang nga butikaw. Take note of that. So 70%. Ang atong number 1, a score of 8, 1, 2, 3, a score of 8 man ni sila, but sa matter of time lang ni sila. So number 1, si Ma'am Maria Auli Aparece, 8. Number 2, Sir Junji Cortez, 8. And number 3, Vinji Monteron. Congratulations. Pareha na sila tag 8.
Congratulations.
Murag bago-bago ang si Ma'am Auli. And 7, Militon Bugawan, Ferlin Saomay, si Sammy Rubio, and Sir Eric Modillas. And the rest, wala nakaabot og 70.
So, maraming 5 ang iabot o nakakuha 7, 8.
7 kaabot daw.
Pilit-pilit. Okay, congratulations. 7 passers. Napaday si Sammy Rubio,
Eric.
and Eric Modillas.
Eric Modillas.
Murag hinay akong internet dere, bro. You lost your network trying to reconnect. Pero nakadungog ka na ko.
Yes daw. Okay ra. Kadungog ra.
Okay. Sige. Congratulations no sa top. So, I can feel you kay na-feel na ko ang inyong ibati tungod kay taas ang situation then tagas po ang choices. But that's the real thing, no? Mo ginay tininood na to nga principal's test, no? I heard the feedback sa last 2018 nga principal's test, mo gito nga taas, daghang basahonon, choices taas. So, well, you know, Sir Genelo, he was one of the writers of the principal's test. So, just giving you, no, the real taste of principal's test. So, kung challenge yung kayo tong nahitabo is, that means daghan patag buhaton para ma-cope up, no, ang challenge sa principal's test. Okay, so but because of that, we would like to ask the secrets of those who made it the top 3, no? Kinsa ito, Sir Titing? Ang third, sila tanan 8 man ang kuha, no? Nag-differ lang sa time.
Yes, Doc. Silang top 3, 8 ang ilang score pareho.
Sige, can we hear from them?
Okay, first from Sir Benji Monteron, second Sir Junji Cortez, then si Ma'am Aule ang pinaka-last.
Pinaka-top.
Pinaka-top.
Sige. Okay, sige. We'll start. Please share naman dyan. Dali, tagaag price, basta di mo istorya. Bitaw, napa sila. Sir Benji. Yes, Sir Benji.
Good evening, sir. Good evening sa staff sa call group. Kuan lang yun, sir. Mamina lang yun, sir. Tapos, ang weakness naman good na ako, sir, is kanang pagbasa og paspas. Wag na. Dayon, pugson lang yun. Pinaspasay lang yun o basa. Thank you po sa nag-share kay Sir Ginilo. Thank you sa mga bagong information. Patanan, thank you.
Na-out si Doc Nanding, no? So, we will continue from Sir Junji Cortez. Sir Junji.
Hey sir, good evening sir.
Sige, padayon lang ta.
Good evening sa tanan. Hey sir, thank you day Sir Janelo John sa mga inputs, and as always sir, kay very rich yun kayo ang imuhang discussion sa amoa, and actually siguro ako napatayon magdili jud tingali kayo ingon nga ang tanan nga ang mga gipang discuss are the principles, but ang questions kay more on the application of the principles, and may naka challenging sa katong ani nga format sa quiz. So it's more on paspas nga mobasa og paspas nga makasabot gyud mo kining key sa pagpasar sa test. So at least kana lang ako i-share sir. So thank you very much sir. God bless ato tanan.
Yes, thank you Sir Junji. Yang given kay decision making application manggod ang questions. Thank you for that Sir Junji. We'll proceed to Ma'am Aule. First time Ma'am Aule. Ma'am Aule Aparece.
Okay, good evening, sir. And thank you so much, Sir Ginilo. Okay, I am from Bohol Division. Then, hora is gisabot ra jud ang mga question, then naminaw ko sa explanation ni Sir Ginilo. Okay, thank you so much. First time. Good
Alright,
evening.
congratulations Ma'am Maria Auli. Doc Nanding nakabalik nagsulod pero kadungog man na back kay.
Nakadungog ko sa taas.
Naaman si Sir
Congratulations. Ambot nga nung naputol ko. Congratulations especially sa number 1. Yes, bago pa tong si Ma'am Auli na abot sa top 3. So may laban, no? Tuloy-tuloy lang ang laban. Congratulations sa tanan. So si Ma'am Tarhata, napa si Ma'am Tarhata, no? Nagiging ang formal na pag-apil ni Ma'am Tarhata. Naka-apil ka sa e-quiz, Ma'am?
Naka-apil ra sir, pero wala dyan ako nahuman sir, kaya nawala nga akong connection.
Ay, okay. Pero natay kuan ma'am, assignment mode, i-post na ni Sir Titing sa ato ang GC para makapractice ka sa assignment mode.
Okay, sir. Noted, sir. Thank you.
Then the session is also recorded and will be posted in our shared drive para ma-review nimo.
Okay,
Ah.
okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
So, okay ra ang process, Ma'am Tarata?
Okay ra, sir. Okay ra.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank
So,
you.
it's 9:34 in my watch here. So, we still have to work tomorrow. So, thank you so much for your suggestions. You can post again in the GC. Katong nangayo og assignment mode. Yes, we will have it posted. And the video of this session will also be uploaded in our shared drive. Sir Janilo, bro, okay ra nga i-post na to sa FB page ang session karon?
Pwede na po. Sige po.
Pwede ra. Okay, sige. Itong i-post. Okay, so magtulo siguro ni ka video or upat i-andam lang sa nato. Okay, thank you, Sir Janilo. Then, again, reminder on Saturday, we will have our summative test. It will become 200 items already, no? 200 items. Ma-feel na yun yung 200 items. Although, review na kaya na-discuss naman, no? So, for participants like Ma'am Tarhata, we don't know manggod ang date, ma'am, sa test. So, mo nang ipasulod na kanako, then, anyway, kung immediate na gyud kayo or doon na gyud kayo ang test, you can fast track the review from the videos of the sessions in our shared drive. No? Kung apike na kita sa date kay it's already July, basin-basa din mo ingon og September or August baka ang test. So at least no? Na-check man nimo, Ma'am Tarata, no, ang mga videos?
So far, sir, ang katulang mga documents pa akong nakitaan, sir. Ang videos wala pa.
Na po yung mga videos ito, ma'am, na check po nimo dito. Ang mga sessions to na to.
Okay, okay, sir.
Okay, sige. Okay, so we are about to end. Maglilima na naman topics ang hibilin. Pila to, Sir Titing? Pila ka strand?
5 more strands. 5 more strands.
Pa lang. So we will continue with other groups. So if you have friends who are interested, you can inform them to join us. Ato gyapon kung kamo ang i-site nila nga mao'y nag-invite, then you will have your incentive. So more or less we will start our second group by last week of July, no? Magsugod na ta last week of July or first Sunday of August, no? Basin December pa ang atong principal's test, so we still have plenty of time para maka-prepare. Okay? So sa ngalan sa FNG Learning Hub, with me tonight is Ma'am Jen, Sir Genelo Jan Israel, Sir Titing, and ESDS Leviticus Barazon. So let's call it a night and see you on Saturday. And please, we welcome, by the way, we welcome your comments and posting in our FB page. Okay, daghang salamat. Maayong gabi, maayo ang atong pag-relax for tomorrow's duty as personnel of the Department of Education. Thank you. Salamat, bro, Janelo.